Welcome to Griddle Cooking with Chef Sherry Ronning. Are you wanting to cook corn, fresh sweet corn on your griddle, but you're not quite sure how to do it, and you need a little bit of help? I have done it. I am going to actually show you several different ways how I cook sweet corn on the Blackstone griddle. So I have my griddle preheated on medium heat. I have a post on my website from michigan2thetable.com. I'll post a link to it in the description. But it is griddle sweet corn, the Blackstone griddle sweet corn, and I've had 3.2 thousand shares of that recipe. It's really, really popular, especially this time of the year. So I'm just going to give you a few options on how I have cooked the corn, and you could pick which is the best for you. And so let's get started. I have corn that I just soaked in water. I didn't remove the silk or the husk on it. We're just going to put that on the griddle. So I'm just going to put that like that. So I have corn that I have peeled back and removed the silk from it. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to just take and put a little bit of butter on there. So I have seasoned butter here. You can use regular butter. You can use the seasoned. You can make your own butter, whichever you would like. So I'm just going to take just a little bit and then rub it all over the corn. And then we're just going to wrap it up and just get it on the griddle. So you peel it, try to peel it back. And, you want to put a generous amount. And this is basically just going to cook into the corn as you are cooking it on the griddle. So I'm going to do this the two different ways. I'm going to show you. I like to wrap mine in foil, but I do have people that are arguing with me whenever I post this recipe, because I post the recipe with the corn wrapped in foil. And a lot of people argue with me about that. And so I'm just going to wrap that up, and then I'm just going to set that like that. So I'm going to take another one, and this one I'm going to wrap in foil. So I'm going to take the butter again, the seasoned butter, and just generous all over it like that. And then I usually will get foil, just the cheap foil from the dollar store, the thin stuff. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to use your expensive foil. And the reason I like to use my foil is because it steams, it holds the steam in here, and it holds the butter and all of that in the wrapper. And I think it cooks better, and I like the taste of it better that way. And a lot of people argue with me about that, oh, that's a wasted step. You're wasting foil. You could do it any way that you want it. I'm sitting here telling people that you could cook however you want. That's just how I like to cook my corn. So I have my foil that I get in the sheets, and it's very thin foil. It's not a thick foil. So I'm just going to go on the corner. I have it wrapped up as best as I can. Go on the corner like that. Fold it in. Fold that in there. And go like that. So it wraps it all up. Nice and tight there. I got one that's wanting to poke out. So this is going to hold the steam, and it's going to steam cook this corn. That's why I like to do it in foil. But I'm just going to show you the differences in how we're going to do it. So then I have just the corn like this that we're going to put on here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover this. So I have my lid. I have my big lid that I'm going to use. And I'm going to go like that and cover it. So I'm going to try to keep this all within the lid area here. And this, I am going to take and put down a little bit of oil. And I honestly, I don't know if I would recommend. I've seen a lot of posts doing it like this. But you know, everybody's to their own. So we're just gonna try it. I'm just gonna show you just what it looks like to do it. And then actually I am going to take a little bit of the butter, the seasoned butter, and just put down, I'm gonna like put it on it, and then it's just gonna melt down on top of it. And hopefully it doesn't brown too much. That's one thing with butter, but I do have the oil underneath of it. So maybe, hopefully it'll mix really good. And you know what? Yep, I'm just gonna let that go like that. I might take and fill a bottle with water, and I might steam cook some of it. I'm just gonna let it cook for probably 10 to 15 minutes. I have the temperature at low heat. So if you're doing other things with your corn, you can cook it along on this side, and you can make smash burgers, you can make steaks, you can make griddle chicken. The garlic butter griddle chicken is a really good thing. You can make kebabs to go along with this. Anything else if you want to do along with it. I would get the corn going because it's probably going to take, when I've tested it before within the foil, it took about 40 minutes for it to cook really good. So we're going to see how long it takes the others to cook, and we'll, you know, see how we're going to do on this. So I'm just going to let this cook, and we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll see, we'll flip it, and we'll see how it's going. So as the corn is cooking, I want to take a few minutes to show you about my cookbook. So I have my cookbook that is recipes for the Blackstone Griddle. And in the cookbook, so if you've already purchased my cookbook, you can look on page 83, and I have the recipe for the griddle corn on the cob in the foil, and it's pretty easy, not too complicated. You could check out that recipe in there. But my cookbook, recipes for the Blackstone Griddle, you can purchase just the digital copy if you'd like. If you purchase the printed copy from me, then I also send you the digital copy you get for free. And there's over 50 recipes in my cookbook. Every single recipe has a full color photo with it. They are all griddle recipes, so I have breakfast, lunch, dinner, appetizers, and desserts in here. Lots of great recipes. You're going to want to make sure to check that out. I will have the link in the description for you, so you can take a look at that. This, I have a lot of people questioning me, asking me where I have gotten the large rectangle dome lid. And I went and searched. I've had it for probably a couple years now. And I was searching for the lids. I do have the round, the lids, the dome lids. But I really wanted these larger rectangle lids. A lot of people will use the foil pans and put handles on them, or just use the foil disposable pans, which work really good. I actually got mine. I searched the website, and the web, I think Googled it, and I believe I got it from eBay, Etsy, one of those. I'm not exactly sure because it's been so long, but just search. These were actually brand new. I wasn't sure if I was going to get them and they were going to be used or not, but they were brand new. So I have two of them, and I absolutely love them. I use them often, and you know, it's good to have. And you know, I love the silicone handle so it doesn't get hot. As you can see, I'm holding it and it's not hot at all. Other things that I like to use. So I'm making corn on the cob. I like to use these. I have gotten, I've had these for years, and I will see if I can find these and put a link in the description for you. But they're really cool. So this is how I store it, just like this. But you take the corn and just poke on each side, and you don't burn yourself. You have them, and you just store them. Just after they're cleaned, you poke in there, you poke the opposite way, like that, and it just stores just like that. I love these corn holders, corn on the cob holders. I use them every single time I do the corn, and I highly recommend these. Just a little, some of them have been on for a little over 10 minutes, some maybe a little bit less. So remember, when you do the dome lid, you don't wanna flip it up because the heat will escape out of it. So you wanna pick it up and set it over so the heat stays in there. So I'm just gonna pick it up, move it over like this, and I am going to use my tongs here are really good for this, and I'm just gonna flip. As you see, we're getting golden color here, so I'm just gonna do a quarter flip. I'm gonna do the same with this. This has got a little bit more on it, so we're gonna just do a quarter flip there. I'm gonna do the same with this one here, and let's check this corn to see. Not too bad. It doesn't have like the brown. I was kind of worried that it might get a little bit toasted, but it's not too bad. So I'm gonna flip it. I can see that it's cooking because it's a different color. It's that golden. You're getting that golden color. So I'm just gonna do a quarter flip on each one of these. And this, another thing, is a good thing. It's the corn, so you can cut them in pieces and serve them. Instead of serving a whole piece of corn, if you're serving a crowd, you can get 3 servings of corn, from 3 or 4 even. I've done that for one ear of corn. So that's one thing that I recommend if you're serving a crowd, is to cut them up in pieces. And so then when you're serving them, you don't have as much waste with that. They just take a little piece of it. If they want more, they can come back for more. You know, it is, but that is one thing that I found with, especially like the kids, it's better to have them in smaller pieces and they don't waste as much. So our corn has been cooking for roughly about 15 minutes. I did the first flip on it. So I am going to do with my corn, I'm just going to cook up a little bit of chicken, and really simple. It's not fancy or anything. So I just want something to go with my corn, and I'm just going to do a little bit of oil. I've got a lot of room because we've got the corn in there. So I've got a lot of room there. So the oil, I am going to take my chicken. I just have one chicken breast here that I've cut up into smaller pieces. I like to do bite-sized pieces so then I can just eat it, you know, with a fork. So I'm going to go like that, get that on the oil, like that, and take my spatula there, set that aside. So I am going to be using some of this Blackstone Parmesan Ranch on here. We're going to do a little bit more oil over the top. And then I'm just going to sprinkle some of the ranch in there, like that. And I'm going to spread it out. And I'm just going to let it cook. Let it do its thing. Remember, when you're cooking, don't keep on flipping with it. Let it cook. Let it get golden brown on the one side, and then we'll flip it over. So halfway through cooking, then you're going to want to flip it. And with chicken, it's kind of easy to tell that it does turn white as it is cooking. So you have the raw chicken look that's on the top, but it's starting to get white on the bottom. And we're just going to let it cook, let it do its thing, and continue cooking. So with the chicken, you can do, if you don't have the Parmesan Ranch seasoning, you could use like a packet of ranch, powdered ranch. I have used that before. You can just use plain seasoning, salt and pepper. You can use seasoned salt and pepper. I have used, like if I have specialty blends of spices that I have, I will use that. Another thing you can also do, which I like to do, the butter chicken. If you've watched any of my videos before, I like to use the seasoned butter on there. So you could also cook it up with some seasoned butter. all kinds of choices. You know, it just kind of depends on how, if you want to experiment or if you've done it before, and you know, just kind of see how it works. Okay, it looks like we got a nice good layer of white on the bottom, so I'm just going to take and just flip it over. Yeah, there we go. We got some color. Make sure that I do sometimes when you're cooking, some pieces will flip over and some won't. So you just want to make sure that you get them all flipped. I probably could have let it go just a little bit longer. And then, like, too, if you see, I'm using the corner of that to flip some of the stubborn ones, the ones that don't really want to flip. Just take and lift underneath of there and flip it over. It goes like that. I love using the corner of that. It works really well. So then, once again, I'm going to kind of make sure that the chicken is in a single layer. I'm going to kind of break it up because there is a couple pieces that are sticking together. And so I'm going to kind of break them apart. And then I'm just going to let it cook. Remember, don't flip, don't flip. Just let it do its thing. So we're just going to let it go like that. I'm going to set that so you can see it sizzling, the nice sizzle of the chicken, which is exactly what you want. It's not too hot. Remember, I did turn it on low. So we're just going to let the chicken cook, let the corn cook. What are we at? We're at, you know, like less than 20 minutes. So I'm going to give it just a few minutes and then we're going to check the corn. We're going to flip that again and see how we're doing on that, on the corn. But another thing I want to remind you that you can go to mygriddlesecrets.com and I have all kinds of griddle related things there. I have my digital cookbook that you can purchase. I have my printed cookbook. I have my course. I have my Griddle Secrets membership that you can join. What else do I have? Private one-on-one cooking sessions if you want to invest in that. I have that there. And it's also a good spot for future things that I'm working on. I've got all kinds of things that I'm doing. You can access my website through that. And just keep on checking back at that often because there's all kinds of good resources there. You can get a free griddle checklist. I have like a 3-pack of free griddle checklist. You just put your email into there and I will send that to you. So let's take a look back at our griddle here. So this is cooking really nicely. We're just going to let that go. Remember, I'm not going to flip this over. I'm just going to slide this over. We've had the corn cooking for about 20 minutes now. So I'm going to grab my tongs here. I'm going to do a quarter flip. Let's see. Not too bad there. So we're going to do another flip. Yep, and that's just a little bit. That's got a little bit of the exposed corn there. We're going to do another flip on that. And I'm doing just a quarter turn on these. So just a quarter turn. And the corn is looking pretty good. It's not getting all brown, but I can see it's cooking. It's turning. You will see the colors, the different colors of the corn, and that's how you can tell that it's cooking. So I have got my corn here. I'm going to add a little bit of steam to it underneath the dome lid. So I did my quarter turns on all of them. I'm just going to take and put a little bit around there. And I'm just going to steam and put the lid so that'll steam underneath there and help with the cooking process on that. And let's see, let's check out the chicken. Remember, I have my griddle on low, so it's not cooking really fast. You know, just all depends on how you want to cook it. You could turn this side up, and I'm just going slow with this just to let it cook. You can see it's getting kind of creamy from the ranch powdery mix on there. And we got a little bit of golden brown color going on all sides. I'm just going to let this cook a little bit longer, and then I'm going to pull it, and I'm probably going to test it because it looks really, really good. And I didn't add any seasoning on that beside, like I didn't add salt and pepper, but this has got enough seasonings in it that I think it's going to be good. I can see the flakes in there, so I'm not going to add any more like salt and pepper to this, and I'm just going to let it cook. But remember, you don't want to overcook chicken. That is the biggest mistake that you can do, is like walk away, forget about it, and it'll overcook very quickly. So make sure you stay at the griddle when you're cooking and don't walk away and let your food overcook. That's the biggest mistake that people will make. And I've actually done it where I've forgotten something and I will run inside and start talking with somebody and forget about cooking outside, and it's just a not a good thing. So I do have a serving plate that I have the chicken, and I'm gonna test this. There's this big piece here. I'm gonna use the side of the spatula here, and I'm gonna cut it in half and see if I have any pink color, or to see if it is all white. And it's perfect. It looks perfect. So that was the biggest piece. So I think we're good. I don't want to overcook it. So I'm gonna pull it and add it to my plate here. Just like that. Look at that. We're gonna have to try some of this. We are at about 25 minutes for the corn cooking right now. So we just did 3 turns to it. So we have one more turn that I'm gonna do, and it was looking pretty good. So and the temperature is going to, everybody's griddle is different. So it's going to cook at different temperatures. So you're just going to have to look at what the corn looks like. You may need to like poke it and take a fork or a knife and just poke it and see if it's, when you poke into it, is it creamy looking still? If it's creamy, then you want to cook it just a little bit longer. You want to get a nice pop from it so that it's crisp, it's pops really good, and I think you're going to be able to tell. You'll be able to tell if it's the difference in the cooked versus the not cooked, and we've had it to where we've gotten corn and it's been tough corn. So it's like, it doesn't matter whether it's cooked or not. It's like, if you have tough corn, if you have what we call like field corn that isn't good corn, it doesn't matter how long it's cooked or how little it's cooked on the griddle, it's just not going to turn out. So you want to make sure that you're starting out with good corn. You're making sure that you want to start out with fresh corn when you're cooking, so that you get a good sweet corn bite to it when you're done. So I cooked the chicken on here, and I'm just gonna clean the griddle really quick as that's still cooking there. Just scrape all that off, and I'm just gonna put it into my grease trap there, just like that. And you don't want to leave it on your griddle too long. You don't want it to burn and make your griddle all funky and make the griddle top. It's best just to get it off the griddle right away, and then you're good to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to try the chicken. It's cooled down just a little bit here. So this, for a very quick meal for the chicken, is perfect. A perfect side for me to do along with the corn. I really like this. So it has been about 30 minutes since we flipped the corn last, so we have one more side to do. So I'm going to remember, lift this up, put it sideways. We put a little bit of steam in there. I can see that it's cooking up really good. So I'm going to do the last turn on this. We do have some color on our corn here. Alrighty, just go like that. Ooh. So we got a little bit of the butter marks there. We got turn. Make sure you don't do too many turns on it. Let's see, we're gonna go like that, like that. And so I'm gonna add again a little bit more of the water to steam cook the corn. So I'm just going around it a little bit there, just like that. And then we're gonna put the lid on it to hold that in. Okay, so we're just a little over about 35 minutes for the corn, so I'm going to take a peek at it, see where we're at. I'm going to say that the smaller corn is probably done. It's going to take less time to cook on that, and I don't want it to get it overdone either. So it looks, we've got like nice bright color on that. We're looking good. I'm going to give this just a little bit longer here. I'm going to do another flip for my foil corn. And, let's see. So I'm going to fold this back and just kind of take a peek at it and see. Like this outside here looks really good, but when I fold it back a little bit, it's steaming, but I think I'm going to give this just a little bit longer to cook. And let's fold this back, the corn that I had soaked in water. I'm curious to see what this looks like. So just make sure that you don't burn yourself. And see, this has the silk on it. I did remove the silk from the other before I started on it. So that is one thing that you're going to have to watch. Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't look bad, but I think I'm going to go a little bit longer on it. It's, you know, and this is where too, you know, you just got to look at it. To me, it looks, it might not be, you know, you can poke it. I got to get a fork here. I'm going to take my fork here. So to test it, you can just take a fork and see how it pops and to break into it to see. It's not bad, but I think it needs it just a little bit longer. So we're going to just let that go. I'm going to put that all back together there. And then I'm just going to rotate it again to a side that maybe has not got a lot of the golden brown color to it. Because the one thing too that I found, if you leave it too long, it will burn the corn. You'll have areas that the corn is burned, and you know, it doesn't look too bad. But we're just going to let that go like that. I think I'm going to let that go just a little bit. And this probably isn't too bad. We got color there. We got some color there, but like right here, it doesn't look as done as the rest. So I'm just going to turn this, and I'm going to use the corn there to lean up because it has a tendency to want to roll so that it's not on that side. So I'm just going to lean it close to that like that. I'm going to use some more steam. We're going to just go around it just like that. And another thing too that you can do, you can turn it up. So you could turn it up to kind of speed up the cooking process with this, but you really have to watch that you don't burn it. So I might turn it just a touch, and it's just this burner here, so I'm not gonna mess with the rest of it because the rest are at low, which is fine. And so I'm gonna turn this up maybe like a medium low on this side. So I have my small ears of corn that, because they're smaller, they're going to cook faster. So this is how I like to have my corn. So I just have a little plate with butter, just softened butter. And I mean, you can even use harder butter on this because the corn will, if it's hot, it'll melt it and it'll be perfect. So remember, I had talked about my little things here, my little corn holders. I'm going to use that. We're just going to poke. You go like that on each. Might have to do one side, get the one side in. And then go to the other side. So go like that. You're going to hold it like that. And then I'm just going to twirl it. I have my butter, so I'm just going to twirl it like that. And get some butter on there. Because my butter's already softened. So it's going really good. Like that. So I got a little bit of butter there. And you could do the same with this. I mean, if you want to just use your fingers, you can do it like that. You know, just get a little bit of butter on there. You can use your fork or use like a knife and spread it like that. I'm going to set this aside. So we have, let's go like that. So I have my griddle chicken and my griddle corn on the cob, the smaller pieces. I am going to just test it to see how it is. So when you test it, when you bite into it, you should have a nice crunch to it. And it's nice and sweet. I can really taste the sweetness in it. That's one thing with doing it on the griddle, is it'll bring out that sweetness of the corn. And look how it comes off the cob like that. That's perfect. Perfectly cooked. So the difference between the smaller ones, yep, these are cooked, but I had to leave them on just a little bit longer because those aren't, I could just tell by looking at them, they're not quite done yet. So one thing with the corn, don't rush the process. If you rush the process, then you're going to regret it when you're eating it because people are going to be like, this corn isn't done. This doesn't taste very good and stuff. And you don't want that. You definitely don't want that. So, got some thunder coming, some rolling in. It's actually like pasta. So I live in Michigan and we live right on, let me do this. I'm going to do this. So everybody knows this. So Michigan here, we live like right here along the water, but we're like about 10 miles off the water. So a lot of times we either get hit really hard from the storms or it just kind of blows over us. And that's what it did. I could see it going and it's moved past us. It's that way. So we got thunderstorms earlier. So another thing that you might, if you're looking in back, when I'm filming, if you're looking, always take a look behind me because, and I may never not even know if I'm looking at editing, sometimes I pick it up, but there's deer that are along that border that come in. They try to eat my husband's stuff that he has growing there. They go to the bird feeder and will eat the bird seed there. But it's kind of cool. Earlier, I did see a deer that came in, and there is babies. So a lot of times they're hiding babies back there, and sometimes they'll poke up, and you might be able to see them. And so this corn has been about 45 minutes. We're going to check to see what we're at. Okay. Look at that. Nice golden brown color. This is done. So we pulled our smaller pieces earlier. So they look very comparable there. We did turn the griddle up just a little bit. So I think we're looking good. So I'm peeling back the husk a little bit on that. We got, yeah, it's steaming. It's nice and steaming hot. So I'm going to pull that. And yeah, we're good. So this is the corn. We got a little bit of darker color there, so it might have gone through onto the corn. We're going to have to check that out. And then I have my foil wrapped corn. And the reason that I like this is because it steam cooks on the inside. We're going to check this out. So I haven't opened it at all. And it's been about 45 minutes maybe cooking. Ooh, look at that. So we've got some color on our husk, which is good. And I have the butter in there. Look at that. The butter has stayed. Ooh, look at that. Perfect. We've got, look at that. Look at that color there. So we're going to peel that back. It's nice and steamy. You could tell the kernels. This is why I like to do it in the foil, because it's all nice and steamy from it, from the moisture being in there. And it's butter. So you could just take this and serve it. The butter was already on it. You don't need to have anybody messing with butter at all. All you do is just give them a ear of foil or the foil corn. Just give it to them and they unwrap it and it's all set to eat. That is that is a perfect ear of corn. And so the choice is up to you. You can do it directly on the griddle. You can wrap it in foil. You can soak it in water before you put it on. It's up to you how you make your corn on the cob, but I suggest making it. And you can go to my recipe from michigan2thetable.com and look up griddle corn and griddle corn on the cob. It is this is amazing, and this is a perfect season to make it, and you're going to want to make it again and again after you try it. So if I want to tell you guys, this is a hack of mine. I will always make up extra corn like this and do like a roasted corn with it. And I take any leftovers if we will eat from it, whatever, and I will take the leftovers, cut it off the cob, and then I make a roasted corn chowder soup with it, with any of the leftover corn that I have that doesn't get eaten. It is to die for. It is amazing. You're going to love it. So I will have a link for that in the description for you. I hope you enjoyed this corn on the cob made on the Blackstone griddle recipe. And make sure to check out my website from michigan2thetable.com. You will find this recipe plus other corn recipes that I have on there. So make sure to check back often. Make sure to subscribe to my page. Hit the bell to make sure to get notifications of when I go live or when I drop a video. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and we will see you again soon. Bye.